All right. Welcome everybody to the World Series of Free Enterprise Reject Percent Final Table. Looks like we have a telestart and are getting ready. I will be one of your commentary team tonight, Supremacy, and I'm joined by Crimson Ape.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Hyped to see what our forerunners can manage to do with the reject percent and a Tele Edward start. Doesn't really get much better than that, right?
Well,
And a
it does
crystal.
because we got
Holy
the
moly.
crystal
All
right
right.
away. So yeah, one of the most interesting things about this flag is, well, those two characters there are two of the five that we can possibly get throughout this seed. Now we can have duplicates, but it is limited to Tella, Edward, Corum, Sid, and Rydia, and no one else. So the Zero Mist battle is a lot more interesting with characters that really don't hit high in that HP pool other than Sid. So we'll see what characters are available to them and basically how they choose to go about the fight once they find what they need. Because well, all they're looking for really now is the pass to have full access.
Yeah, in addition to that, though, I'm sure everyone, upon seeing that starting party and starting item, is sweating right now because it's all. There's no more, real huge element of luck other than can you find Darkness Crystal or Sirens? Because everyone has what they need. There's no, I found a gamble to luck into the crystal and get a head start. It's I need to get levels. I need to go beat Zeromus as fast as I can. How can we do that?
Yeah, and we saw Sid in the Baron Inn here, and with Tella getting given to us at the immediate start, I wonder how many of them are thinking, I really hope to find the Darkness Crystal. That way I can just, go to Mount Ordeals, pick up weak, and then just go do the grind fight in the Giant rather than worry about finding Sirens and. Because I don't see them getting the 10 key items here to really get that experience boost. So the grind fight is going to be a lot more advantageous for runners.
Yeah, for sure. Doing ordeals and getting the setup for the D machine grind will definitely speed things up. But I know everyone at the final table should be pretty comfortable with the D machine grind, but um, even experienced runners can mess that up and just take way too long to actually get the fight itself.
Now, Night Dew is ransacking here in Mist and found two moon veils, which can be very, very uh, beneficial to have going forward in this seed without characters that can deal out a lot of damage and stuff. If you run into a physical attacker, having those moon veils will possibly save your run, especially if they choose to do something like going to the underground through the hook or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Since we are on T4 treasure settings, treasures can contain everything imaginable up to the very strongest tier of items like adamant armor. Um, so doing a bunch of looting early, especially with a weak party like this, to try and get something like an adamant armor or for Edward an Artemis bow, can be very useful. And as we say that, Knight finds an adamant armor inside the Troya treasury, so he is pretty set for early game at this point. Um, but with a telestart, you have exit right away. So looting some places like Mist Village or Watery Pass that usually take a while and aren't exactly what you want to spend your time on can be a little bit more advantageous when you have the ability to just exit out right away.
Yeah, it also makes Hobbs a little bit better to play because not only do you have access to that character, that third character early on, but you also can loot those extra 5 chests, which may have something really good. So another benefit of having an early exit.
Yeah, I know we saw Scratch dip into Kaipo and check out who the Sandra character was, but I did not see it. Did you manage to catch that?
I did not. So we have seen a few items that are not going to be beneficial to us at all. So they will sell for good money, which may provide us with just the ability to get a little extra. Now, we don't have great shops, but still having that little bit of extra money may help. Like we have already seen in Avenger Sword, so selling stuff like that will at least give us a nice pocketbook to be able to purchase things with, especially if we find those Cure 2s and other items in the shops that we can use.
Yeah, so we see Night Dew is gonna pick up Rydia on Hobbs. Rydia is a very nice pickup on these flag sets, and Simbu finds Derek Mist inside of Antlion Cave. So pretty easy boss, and I believe we are on NK. Yep, so 2 key items from that Antlion check now.
Yeah, Elements actually isn't bad here because they distribute all that HP. They shouldn't be too much an issue, especially when you have Rydia just destroying them with ice. So one benefit Night Dew is going to have is he already found an Odin spell, which some of the bosses will not have that boss pit flag on. So things like the Baron Guards and stuff like that, Odin will have a benefit in this seed. So finding Rydia is actually a pretty good character find there.
Yeah, with T4 you can find Bahamut and Leviathan and a bunch of other good summons and chests. So Rydia becomes, you know, one of the reasons that Rydia is in reject percent is because when it comes to the black magic skills, Palom does everything better. He learns better spells earlier, he gets more magic power, but you know, Rydia's uniqueness in having those summons definitely lets her shine in this flag set. A little bit more than the rest of the characters available. We see Night Dew taking no time and throwing the adamant armor directly onto her. Doesn't want to go to Edward. Said, Rydia, you're doing all the work. He's got Sylph, he's got Odin. She's going to be doing everything this seed. Simbu gets the package off of D-Mist, so in Antlion, so a little bit of irony there.
Absolutely. Sylph is actually also really good for Night Dew because Tella, while being, you know, a sacred mage and everything, one that's very good, really is bad with white magic. So having that heal and damage from Sylph is going to be extremely beneficial to have throughout this entire seed.
Yeah, Sylph is probably one of the best things you can find on for Rydia on this flag set. It just enabled so much early, and yeah, its healing capabilities should not be underestimated because it does heal so much better than Tella.
And we get the tower key from Rydia's mother, so we're gonna see Simbu go ahead and raid the rest of Mist here as well, get the couple moon veils, some Artemis arrows, and other stuff. So actually not a bad Mist at all.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll see many people dip into the tower, but if they still need to find the Darkness Crystal and or pass by the time they get there, it's could definitely be an item worthwhile. Looks like Porum is the package character, but Simbu says not worth my time.
Yeah, we do have Mylon and his zombie dance party over at the Fabul fight. And it looks like
the nice thing about that fight is that you can... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it seems like our runners are pretty much just recycling what the others have done so far, so going to be a little bit of that. But we do have a check from Scratch Dragon as to what the summon we're going to get from Mount Hobbs.
Yeah, looks like it is the Bomb Summon, which is basically like a single target D-Mist. So D-Mist, the summon is based off of your hit points. Bomb is basically the same thing, single target. Not going to be used as much as Silk will.
Now right there you see the power of Self, you know, that's a full cure for everyone at this point and easy to take out the enemies.
Yeah, the other thing about Sylph is that just because of a vanilla bug, Sylph doesn't actually cost MP. So as long as you have the 25 in your pool to cast it, it never actually gets used. So it's basically a free summon that not only does damage, but also heals the entire party. But yeah, this early game is probably going to be basically the same checks up until they find an item that actually lets them diverge to either go to the moon or head underground.
Yeah, and so far we aren't really seeing a lot of what we want. We get the tower key earlier, and now we just get the Luca key. So a bunch of our underground access areas, but we don't have the underground access yet, and we really want to be able to avoid going there if at all possible. And as we stated, we will be checking a lot more chests than not, because we do have T4 on, which means we can find anything and everything in these chests. So it is very beneficial to check them, especially when our shops aren't going to carry a lot of great stuff. So pretty much all of our endgame items in terms of equipment are going to be found from the chest.
Found sirens, ethers, and hourglasses in Troya. So just the motherload of stuff there. And I know we found coffins somewhere else. So as soon as they get underground access, they have the means to just buy a bunch of sirens, buy a bunch of coffins, and just go kill eggs for 45, 50 minutes if they really want to.
For sure, and we've actually also seen a lot of high money items that we can get for selling. Like we saw the Avenger Sword, we saw the Crystal Shield, which sells for a good amount. So finding these items just gives them a resource to be able to pick up those sirens and coffins, which, you know, is going to be possibly their main source of grinding if we don't find the Darkness Crystal at all.
Yeah, I think the Siren Coffin grind is definitely going to be easier and a bit more mindless. But when you have the option of doing a D-Machine strat, especially if you have somebody that can benefit from a slingshot, like a Rydia or a Porum that you get really late, it can definitely speed up your grind just so much. But I would not be surprised to see them do a few eggs when getting underground just to get this party into better shape with HP.
Now I missed where Night Dew is at. Is he possibly doing the package check right now?
I believe Night Dew is in Baron Inn.
Oh, okay. That would make sense as well.
I'm not sure if that's the first or second boss, but I'm pretty sure he's in Baron Inn. And the Baron Inn character was Sid, I believe.
Yes, that was Sid, so nice to finally have the tank on the team.
Yeah, they got an adamant armor. Anybody's the tank.
Very true.
Okay, Mom Bomb was the first boss, and now Leviathan is the second. So, Leviathan, one of the few bosses that does not care about your adamant armor, but with Sylph, you're probably not going to die from his 25% wave attack.
No, especially when you're curing for 100% of your HP.
There's a few bosses that do not care if you have an adamant armor or not. They will still ruin your day. Ogopogo is definitely one. Odin's another. Wyvern doesn't care about adamant armor, but there's a lot of bosses that they only do physical attacks. Your adamant armor is basically invulnerable.
Now we do see Night Dew deploying a tactic that a lot of runners will use. They just hide Edward, so they don't have to worry about him taking damage or having to worry about, cycling through an attack or anything like that. So if you're gonna have him defending anyway, might as well have him do it through, hiding.
Well, it looks like the Sand Ruby was at Baron Inn, so the quest for 5 characters is basically done. We know at least where 5 characters are, so usually when you start off with a crystal, your first thoughts are how can I fill out my party to actually beat the game, and then how do I get the levels and get there. But it looks like everything on the overworld so far is saying you need to go to Ordeals. Ordeals has to be our underground access at this point, or leads to it. And we have at least 5 characters available in the overworld. And it looks like it's a second Tella at the Sand Ruby, so I expect Nightdew to head to... well, he hasn't done Antlion yet, so he hasn't found the package Ord missed. But with 2 Tellas and a Cid and Iridia, he might decide to do Ordeals first, in which case he will not find that package or tower key.
Right, at this point it's just more of a, are we going to get the immediate Magma or Hook, or are we going to have something like the Earth Crystal, the Baron Key, or Twin Harp show up?
This is a party that would probably struggle at Twin Harp, so yeah, I'm hoping to see a Twin Harp too.
I personally am hoping for Twin Harp into Hook, because that would be just a nightmare, one after another for these for this team.
Alright, so Scratch gets his tower key. Looks like he's going to be... Yep, he's doing the save check, going to see who the package character is. He'll probably reset out of Porum. I don't know, he might take it. It's a bit of a time loss, but having a real white mage is good. And is that Palom burning down Mist? Because that's hilarious.
I couldn't tell if that was Palom or if that was the guards from, like, Baron attacks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can't tell. It's hard to see.
If that was Palom, that's amazing. This game is full of irony tonight.
Palom was burning down the village because he's not in reject percent. And because her sister was.
Yes. If he can't be there, neither can his sister. So Zilch is receiving his tower key. Simbu is fighting Leviathan in the Baron Inn. And I believe we're going to be getting Nightdew heading up Ordeals now. Or maybe not.
I think Nightdew is still in his shop around the world checks at the moment. But considering his proximity to Ordeals after checking his Aggregate shop, it would not surprise me too much to see him maybe head to Mysidia and then to Ordeals. Yeah, Scratch is definitely going through the package to get Porum.
So the nice thing about the package is at least the boss is pretty tempered. No, there's a few that can be annoying here just because of the length of battles, like the Football Gauntlet. Bahamut, though, is very nice to have.
Yeah, this spot has very low stats in like every regard. It's got super low HP, super low attack, basically, and super low speed. So really the only bosses that are super annoying are something like Golbez, where you have to wait through the cutscene anyway before you can even hit them, or something like the Gauntlet, where it doesn't matter how fast they die, there's still 16 of them.
So it looks like Simbu may also be heading over towards his Ordeals check. So we will have 2 people on Ordeals at the same time, and our first Ordeals battle is going to be Lugae.
Yep. Cid with the hammer will actually deal, I think, quad damage to both Balnov and Lugae's second form, so that's actually really good that he picked up Cid first. so that shouldn't be too bad of a fight.
Yeah, and the HP distribution here, Sylph took out Lugae pretty easily, and as you said, Sid just destroys Bonab, so should not be a complicated battle at all for our runners. Although Simbu might have a little more difficulty, he does still have Sid, so I don't think it's even going to be an issue for him.
Yeah, Simbu's actually making really good time. Him and Knight Dew are at the same place, but he's got the demiss checked already. But Knight Dew does have the other two characters, since Simbu has not gone to Hobbs and has not checked Ruby. Looks like our second boss is the Baron Soldiers.
Yeah, a free battle for what it's worth. You can actually just have Rydia use Odin and take care of it. So, but really not difficult at all.
Yep, looks like Knight Dew is opting to just stick with Sylph. Doesn't want to take the chance that Odin misses. I think everyone picked up Coffins as well, so I'm honestly surprised to not see just Coffin the officer and watch the soldiers get themselves. I'm fairly certain Knight Dew picked up like a stack of like 20 or 30 Coffins with all the Avenger money.
Yeah, Simbu just opting to use the Hourglass, basically making it a wait and see fight, where the officer and the soldiers just do nothing while you beat on them. So, taking it a little bit of a different way, but definitely not horrible.
Yeah, I want to say that one of the things that is probably going on is that they have the coffins and everything, and I'm sure they know that it's probably faster to use them, but it's one of those, when you start with the crystal in a high pressure setting, like a final table like this, your brain just sometimes stops working. Like, you just have to instinctually go, I gotta go fast, and you sometimes just forget about stuff like, oh yeah, I can cheese this by using a coffin, or something along those lines.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of times that I forget, oh, this boss, is actually immune to status. Is not immune to status, so I can do this against them and end up taking a lot longer on a battle that I shouldn't.
Yeah, and despite the two extra party members and Sylph spam, Simbu does actually get through the fight faster by using a Bacchus Wine on Sid with, I believe, the Samurai, bow, and Artemis arrows. And it looks like we have a Baron key, so we do not have Underground.
So Evil Wall here shouldn't do much to any of the characters. Does get a Petrify Hop because, of course, the Dancing Dagger is considered magic, but yeah, with only 1,000 HP, not much will be done. In fact, Sylph might actually give Knight Dew the slight lead back here.
Oh no, about the same
pretty much, yeah.
So it will be interesting to see how they progress through Baron. I don't expect Knight Dew to go back for Antlion at this point, but he might, just thinking that, oh, this is another chain and I didn't do Antlion yet, so who knows.
Yeah, Knight Dew may sit there and say, it's on the way, and instead of going directly to Baron, I'll stop by Antlion quick, see what's there. A lot of runners actually will choose not to do the Antlion until it's one of the last possible things for progression purposes, just because the run through the cave takes a little bit longer and doesn't really amount to anything other than an item. So we'll see which way Knight Dew goes, but Simbu obviously is going to make the direct play on Baron.
Yeah, usually when you see people skip Antlion early, it's either because they don't have a source of exit, and it looks like he's heading straight to Antlion before Baron. So normally one of the reasons you skip it is because you don't have exit, and exit just makes it so much faster. So if you can find a Porum or Tella along the way that gives it to you. It can definitely save you time in walking out of Antlion. The other just being that you get really early underground access, so there's just so many more places to check that you honestly just like forget that you never went there.
So Zilch is currently fighting his soldiers, and we will have Scratch joining him shortly as well, while Naidu is heading down towards the Mist Dragon. And then, yeah, Simbu is heading into Baron Inn, so we're going to get to see whether it's more of a fetch quest type progression, or if he actually gets his underground access here.
And it was a little hard to catch. I apologize for the slideshow that's going on in his Ultra stream, but it does look like he used a coffin to get rid of the guard, and then used the Earthhammer ability to cast Quake to get rid of the soldiers. So, really fast way to get through that fight. And now Simbu is reminded that Asura is the boss in Baron. So hopefully has some mute arrows, or similar to... I believe he has actually got an Elven bow with those Artemis arrows, so probably will two-shot this is true.
Yeah, I don't see Asura being too difficult, although the speed is... I think, yeah, I think he was waiting for Asura to land on life, and yeah, one-shots.
Yep, so wasted a little time there, waiting to try and get the life lock going when he was going to one-shot anyway, but wanted to be safe about it, definitely no harm.
Yeah, especially with arrows being a finite resource, it would be very discouraging to sit there and hit just to have Asura go ahead and cure 4 directly after being hit, so definitely not a bad decision to wait that off.
For sure. We see CPU has taken over Baron, so having that bow will be really useful here too.
Yeah, Naidu as well, when he gets to this point, will not have any difficulty with these fights, having the access to summons as well.
Yep, Naidu's about to enter Baron. Looks like Zilch is doing some shopping, and Scratch is just finishing up ordeals. So far, the overworld has pretty much been linear. All the items that you get are either leading you to more progression on the overworld, or are going to lead you to more progression once we get underground. So we'll kind of just be seeing everyone tread the same path until we get through Baron. And then that's probably where we'll see some divergence happen. As soon as we get underground access and get through it. If it's the hook, get through it. If it's Magnetique, just the underground access. See whether or not, people want to check the tower, since they have the tower key. Do they want to go straight to Feymarch just to get the free item out of the way? Do they check the Luca key just because they got it early and want to put it out of their mind? Maybe thinking they need to take a gamble that, the Darkness Crystal is at Sealed Cave. They got an Adamant armor. They don't have to worry about the boss, right? So it'll be interesting once everyone finally gets their underground access.
Yeah, and we should note that we did start with the crystal, but that by no means makes this a free seed. It can very well appear like that, but the games can still do some pretty horrendous things. Like, we may see something like the pass in Evelyn Cave, and it just so happens that the hook is in one of the Lunar Subterranean bosses, so we still need to find the Darkness Crystal just to get there.
Yep, it's entirely possible that they start with the crystal and still go 17 to 17.
So we do have Simbu, looks like going to do some purchasing here in Kaipo. A few Star Veils before heading underground. Since we do have the Magma Key, we do have that underground access, so we'll see. Probably going to go ahead and run into the Land of the Summon Monsters first, because that is a free chest, and then we'll see if he elects to go for the Dwarven Castle, or whether he chooses to go up Babel, because he does have the Tower Key as well. A bunch of choices when you have everything already open to you in the underground.
So, yeah, I completely missed who the character and key item were, so I gather the key item was the Magma Key. Who was the... Oh, looks like it was Rydia at Baron's, so Simbu will be getting a second Rydia after going up Hobbs. I saw him dip into Kaipo and then just saw Tella and said, nope, never mind.
Yeah, my expectation is Naitu will definitely drop one of his Tellas for Rydia, just because he will have that second self-access. So I would almost guarantee that we'll see Naitu taking another Rydia.
Yeah, and interesting that Scratch is now caught up to Naitu, so everybody is except Simbu is now in the Ashura fight. So there's their paths all kind of diverged a bit early. It looked like Naitu had a bit of a lead, but now, especially with Naitu looting the full armory, I think Simbu is going to pull ahead a little bit, even though he's now catching up on the Hobbs check that everyone did earlier. But Scratch and Zilch will not be too far behind.
Which is really what you want to see. You like to see all the runners close together, even if they take divergent paths, just to make the race more interesting. And just a reminder that it is not just these 4 runners racing right now. This is actually the final table between 12 racers, and the other runners are on RPG Limit Break and Randomania, so you can actually do a multi-twitch of all 3 channels to see all 12 runners at once.
Yes, we actually only have 11. Unfortunately, one of our final tablists got called into work and was unable to make it, but we are still happy if you want to watch everybody. We do ask that you keep what's in each channel to that channel. We prefer not there to be any spoilers here from other streams if possible, but you are more than welcome to, and we encourage you to go watch everybody.
So Simbu is dropping the Magma Key right as Naitu, Scratch, and Zilch all head into their CPU battles.
Yep, it'll be interesting to see where it diverges from here, where Simbu takes priority versus everybody else. I'm just wondering, it's 32 minutes in. You started with the crystal. You don't have underground access yet. These are top runners. They all know what they're doing, but you still got to think, like, where am I in relation to everybody else at this point? Like, this has taken a while, even with adamant armors and everything else. Where is everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. And with the other runners, I mean, you're going up against 10 other runners, and you have to be thinking, well, we started with Tella. Did anyone make an early play up 2 ordeals and get the Baron Key and get that underground access super early? So those things may actually make you sort of rush and make clouded judgments, where you may just be trying to make the big gamble rather than possibly the better play. And we do actually see the pass here in Dwarven Castle, so the need for the Darkness Crystal is no more.
Yeah, Simbu is in go mode right now. Although he does still need levels, and if he doesn't want to do a whole, if he doesn't want to do 30 minutes of eggs, he will either want, I think, 2 more key items. I think he's at 8 now. 2, 4, he's at 7, so would either want 3 key items or the Darkness Crystal to speed up that grind.
Yeah, we know he does have access to a possibly a free key item in the Land of the Summon Monsters, but getting those three, I mean, your best path would probably be the Land of the Summon Monsters and then the tower, but he is going directly into his grind. Not sure if he's just going to grind a few levels to make the underground more palatable, or if he's going to be doing a full grind here. It looks like he's set up for a full grind though.
Yeah, and he's got Artemis arrows on Sid in the center, so I expect him to just be going full into the grind at this point. It's definitely an interesting play. With there being a few free spots open and you having some power behind you, if you want to get Rydia to level to where she has nuke on these flags, it takes a very long time. Rydia has a bad experience table. She requires the most experience of any character to get into the higher levels, and she doesn't learn nuke until I believe 55 on these flags, which is just a slog when you're getting it. You know, even 38,000 at a time, it's still a slog to get up there.
Yeah, you'll notice like both of his Rydias got 14 levels off first, and an additional I think 3, and now an additional 2, and she's just barely hitting the 600 mark in her HP. So not only are you struggling to get up to that nuke range, but you're also worrying about survivability of Big Bangs. So yeah, it's going to be quite the process just to get up there. And then you also have Edward and Tella, who have even worse HP progression than Rydia.
Yeah, this is where Scratch might actually have an advantage by sticking with the Porom. Only because Porom does do better than Edward in the Z fight, unless you plan on getting a super amount of levels. But some other interesting stuff, Cure 3s were also in the Dwarf Palace shop, so those can be used to heal through Zeromus, especially if you're just doing a few party members at a time instead of trying to keep 5 people alive. Cure 3s can definitely do the job. There was also Tiaras in the armor shop, which is super good for Rydia. It's basically her best helmet available. 10 plus 10 wisdom is huge. It helps survive Big Bangs as well as just increases her damage output. So I know Simbu checked the armor shop and grabbed 2 of those, but interesting to see if anyone else does, because they make a big difference.
We do have Zilch running into the Land of the Summon Monsters first. Going to see what the key item is up here. Scratch is just opening up his underground access, while Nightdew is finishing up his looting of the Dwarven Castle.
Yeah, Nightdew, I believe he found the pass, so he should have the pass. He's in go mode. He's just... I'm not sure I think he might just be trying to find another Adamant armor, or maybe an Artemis bow or something. Maybe just a better Sid weapon. I'm not exactly sure what he's looking for in all these chests at this point.
Yeah, he did purchase the pass already, along with, I believe, 20 Cure 3s, so definitely has the Cure 3s as well. May just been, as you said, looting for like another Adamant armor or something like that. Stardust Rod also would not have been a bad find at all there for one of the Rydias.
Chat is saying that the pan was the Feymarch item that Zilch got. I know it's very difficult for us to see. Zilch's stream is not the best quality at the moment. So that pan would then lead to potentially 2 more key items. It's 3 potential key items for turning that in. So that could get you to the 10 key item mark very quickly, which, if they both got underground at the same time, I think that would give an advantage to Zilch. But considering Simbu's lead, it might be enough for him to catch up and overtake, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, another interesting thing that Zilch found in Land of the Summon Monsters is there was actually an Artemis bow in the bottom 4 chests as well, so that's a nice little boon for Sid as well to pair with those Artemis arrows that we found.
Yeah, that's huge on the Zeromus fight. He can actually do very respectable damage with that.
So it looks like Naidu did equip the Artemis arrows on Sid and then realized he only has one bow between all of his characters to use. So he's going to put the adamant and the bow on Sid.
Yeah, I think he's just prepping immediately for his egg grind. If he's in Troya, I believe he just went and bought a whole lot more sirens. So he's not on board the try and get 10 key items plan. He's aboard the let's go kill some eggs.
Yeah,
So,
Zilch is
this is the part of it. Sorry, go ahead.
Zilch is picking up his pass now, so he will be in go mode. We'll see if he elects to run the Pan and Smack Yang and go to Sheila to trade them in just to try to get to those 10 key items, or if he elects to start the egg grind as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the item from the Sylphs was. It looks like it might have been Bahamut, which would have been nice if you still needed to use summons to kill things, but you don't really use summons on Zeromus all that often. You really want to use Nuke just because of the super low cast time on it, in addition to it doing not more damage than Bahamut, but equivalent damage.
The fact that we also had the Cure 3s available and we do have one Sid in our party, I also very much expect to see Reflect strats as well to sort of really reduce the amount of HP damage that you need to do. So we'll probably see that strat as well. So Bahamut really is not a benefit at that point.
Yeah, so Zilch is going to turn in the Pan. See if we can try and catch what it is. Doesn't look like it.
Well, one was the Earth Crystal.
Well, I don't think that they're gonna go and actually turn that in at all. Maybe loot the armor, but I feel like the time for looting has passed.
I, however, did not see what the item was for just informing Sheila that Shang's down below, but given his item layout, I'm not sure it was a key item at all. And it looks like, well, is he going to be just buying sirens, or is he actually going to make the Earth Crystal play?
Based on the inventory, it looks like a ribbon is probably
Yes.
the other item from Sheila.
Which actually is not bad either.
Not bad, but when you're trying to just get to 10 key items to make your grind faster, anything that's not a key item is just kind of like salt in the wound at that point, because there's the thought that I could be actually grinding right now, but I want to make this grind easier because I know how long it's going to take.
Yeah, and he is going to go ahead and loot the armory at least. But yeah, sitting there knowing that you're at 9 key items it's just frustrating, because you're like, man, I just need one more to get to.
Yeah, and there's no fast option for another key item at this point. Your options are Dwarf Castle, which is 2 bosses and a cutscene, Earth Crystal, which is 2 bosses and a cutscene, Tower, which is a long walk, a boss, then another boss and a cutscene if you don't get it at the top of the tower. And that's it. Or Lukaki, which is a really long walk back and forth. So at that point, like, it looks like he is making the Earth Crystal play. That's interesting. Maybe just wants better characters plus the 10 key items. Is hoping to I'm not sure what characters he's hoping to get. Maybe just another Rydia to replace Tella or something. But it's definitely an interesting play to go up Earth here. But probably just thinks that the 10 key items will give the advantage he needs. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, I would think really the only two characters that would even be considered being taken right now would either be a third Rydia. I'm not even sure if he has two Rydias, but another Rydia or maybe another Sid, just as like another HP absorber, damage absorber for the Zermus fight. But really interesting, given the two fights that you need.
Yeah, I mean, a Porum wouldn't be bad. Porum can still be your healer, and if you're grinding Rydia to get Nuke, Porum will learn White along the way. But we know that there's a Porum in Package Spot. I'm pretty sure Zilch probably peaked it already and decided that it wasn't worth the time, so maybe it's just, I kind of want Porum, but at least this way I can also get to the 10th key item. I don't know. The rest of our runners are all making omelets right now, so if you've got egg puns in the chat, go ahead, just go on.
Yeah, we do see Nightdew does have one of his old man taking death, or not death nap, but dirt nap. So we know his agility anchor for the Zermus fight.
Yep, and as chat is pointing out, Simbu is going for it. He did not get Nuke on Rydia, so he just got to what I guess he thinks is acceptable levels and is making a stab at. Turning battle speed down to 3 tells me he's planning on reflex strats, but without Nuke, I'm wondering if he's just gonna be reflecting Virus or like Lit 3 or something. We do see that Zilch is getting another Rydia as well.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a bunch of Rydias, especially if you do plan on leveling up to that Nuke level. Be interesting who our fourth here is. And it's another Sid.
Sid, that's pretty good. I don't expect the 3 Rydias plus Sid team. I think you might still want to keep a Tella there for a heal, but oh, interesting. Dismissing the Rydia and dismissing the Ed. But anyway, more importantly on Simbu's screen, let's find out whose butt are we going to kick tonight. Shout out to Simbu's all Tella party, by the way.
Yes. It was really confusing watching the level up.
Ooh,
oh, very nice.
King Dice from Cuphead.
Scala doing excellent work as always.
That is a very good looking sprite. Zilch runs into Pain Man on the second boss.
And I do like the strat here on Simbu's side, using the reflect to also reflect the slow so you don't get the Nuke counter.
Yeah, the downside of that will be that the first Big Bang is not nerfed if you didn't nerf it with something else.
Yeah, an immediate reset, so obviously going to rethink that strat slightly.
Ooh. Unfortunately, Earth is a zonk. Crystal Sword, not at all what you want to see on this flag.
No.
Just a big pile of money.
And at this point, money's the last thing you're concerned about.
And yeah, apologies to the chat for the slideshow on Zilch's stream. we actually kind of expected Simbu's stream might have some frame delays because he said his internet wouldn't be great. But turns out we've got a little bit more problems on that end. But hopefully everything's still been great. Simbu is going in for take 2 at King Dice. I'm wondering if he just didn't realize how close he was to that Big Bang, thought that he would get one slow off via the Reflect and then nerf with a second slow to just basically, get that Silk Web effect, but with only having one counter nuke reflected back, or shot back. Or maybe just mistimed it and then realized that, oh, wait, I never nerfed the Big Bang. Yeah, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, that may have been the realization when it went off, is I reflected it, I'm not going to get that nerf, and this is going to wipe everyone but Sid, so...
Yep. Unfortunately for Zilch, he listened to me and tried to get that 10 key items, and it didn't work out, so now he's super way behind everyone else who decided that wasn't worth the time. Zilch, don't do that. You're putting the arrows in the wrong hand.
A lot of times I forget that little bit of key information, that it actually does matter what hand you put them in. Although with Artemis arrows, I don't really think it does too much, but...
Yeah, it won't matter for aims. It matters a lot more when you have worse bows and arrows, but yeah, there's definitely a distinct difference to which hand you use. Alright, so on Simbu's screen, we see the first Big Bang went off. Tella's taking a dirt nap.
Yeah, Tella took the run of the nuke, which actually is exactly what you want in this situation, and we're looking at about 4,500 damage from the reflected. We'll see how this works, because with the HPs that Simbu currently has, any Big Bang is going to be really bad for the entire party.
Yeah, Simbu is definitely on the nerf the Big Bang strategy. I think doesn't get that nerf, so those Rudias are going to be in trouble.
Yeah, the one survived, I believe she's who is sporting the Adamant right now. But definitely now playing a game of catch up on Simbu's side, and the Black Hole also, actually I believe the other Rydia had the Reflect on, so not doing much, but Simbu takes another reset.
Simbu a little bit aggressive with this play. So that's wipe number 2. Maybe just ran out of Sirens, and that's why he came back up, seeing that he just went and bought another stack of Sirens. So maybe at that point wasn't planned to go that early, but was I'm out of Sirens, let's just go try it plan.
Yeah, and the amount of time that you have to wait for a Lit 3 cast is quite bad, because you're not going to get a lot off on Z in between each of the Big Bangs and everything, so it would be a very, very long drawn out fight.
Yeah, I think with, if you're gonna have a anchored Rydia with Adamant armor, or a Rydia with Adamant armor as your anchor, you might be better off using Virus with the fast one and Lit 3 with the slower ones, just because of how many turns per cast you're going to get. But using Lit 3 with all of them is going to take a long time. It's like, if you've ever had to try and do pure Porum Reflect strats with the white spell, you know that the 3 cast delay on white made such a big difference compared to the 0 cast delay on blue. Trying Reflect strats with only white mages is just always nerve-wracking, because if you mistime it and there's a black hole in between, it's really easy to just wipe out your party and then get into a position that's very difficult to recover from. You don't really run into that problem when you're trying to spam move just because of the speed.
And Nightdew is actually only 2 levels away with his Rydia. So I would expect very shortly we'll see Nightdew finally making the play up to Zeramis.
And it looks like Scratch is either going to get more Sirens because he ran out, or is ready. Okay, yep, Siren. Seems like everybody underestimated the amount of Sirens they would need. And, you know, with the... Well, it looks like Simbu's now trying to get aboard the 10 key item plan, so I think it might still help, but I think that if you were going to do that, you probably needed to be in Zilch's position and try it earlier than later. Just because of how fast it would have sped things up at the time.
Absolutely, and it looks like Nightdew is starting to set up for the final fight here.
Yep. In the meantime, I do want to mention we did have a first place finish. Chokasura has finished in first place with an official time of 54 minutes and 59 seconds.
All right, we have our second runner making their way towards Zeramis.
So Nightdew's only at level 54. Is he going to make the run, or did he also just run out of Sirens like a level short?
The save tells me that he's actually going to give the attempt at Zeramis here, yeah.
Yeah, looks like he saw that dot done and went, oh, I gotta go. And I expect many of the other runners might be following suit with that once they think they can.
Is that possibly what Scratch is doing now?
I think so, because he bought a stack of Sirens, and I don't think he used 10 that quickly, so either got the missing levels he was needing, or saw the dot done and went, oh, let's go.
Yeah, he's setting up his party right now. Yeah, Scratch actually has his levels for Rydia.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. You know, he's a few seconds behind Nightdew, or going to be a few seconds behind Nightdew getting into the fight, but I believe he's got 2 Rydias and a Porum to Nightdew's 1 Rydia, 2 Tellus, so he'll probably have a much easier fight.
Absolutely, and he also agility anchored his Tella as well, so he will have the nice speed advantage there going up against Zeramis.
So something that I just now realized that I should have noticed earlier, Nightdew didn't take the Rydia from Baron.
No, elected to stay with 2 Tellas. Possibly because he never saw Porum. He never turned in the package. Possibly may have elected to keep the Tellas because of the cures, but that means that they would have to survive as well.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think he made the play just to try and be safer on the Zeramis fight with more access to healing, and especially like life spells, but you know, the damage of this fight is going to suffer a lot because of it.
Yeah, and it's also important to notice that Scratch actually has both Rydias in at the 55 level, so he'll be able to use double nukes here on Zeramis. He's not going to care about Tella, obviously. So
Nightdew has decided to just berserk Sid and throw Cure 3s with Rydia while Edward hides. So with enough Cure 3s, he should be able to do the fight, as long as the only thing he really needs to worry about is Rydia getting a really bad roll nuke. But you know, Scratch entered the fight maybe a minute after, and he's just going to have a much faster fight with Reflect strats here.
Although Sid is going to work with all these turns.
Yep. so Simbu is done with the regrind. He's going to give it another shot. And Zilch is heading into the fight there as well. So we're about to have all 4 runners on the Zeromus. And Conkers, if you're just getting here, saying, you know, Z at Unearned Hour, then yes, they all started with the crystal. This was a complete jet seed in terms of you had the crystal immediately. But you also started with Tella and Edward. And you had to do ordeals to get the Baron Key, to get the Magnet Key. So everyone basically fully cleared the overworld. And then after that, the pass was in Dwarf Castle, just waiting to be bought. And so they did, and killed eggs for 30 minutes.
And Nightdew also had to switch over to the Earth Hammer. I believe ran out of arrows, so gonna be doing about 1,000 less damage.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And Rydia takes a nosedive off of that big bet.
Yeah, this is where you hope that you can get Edward out in time to raise Rydia. But I think Nightdew may be a little too far behind on everything to really be able to deal enough HP to Zeromus before Zeromus gets off an orbit thing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. The black hole actually helps since Sid won't be berserked, but I'm curious how he ran out of arrows. If just the Bacchus Wine got black holed, and because that was a really fast black hole.
Yeah, I think Nightdew actually took black hole previous, and of course, once his turn shows back up, that last arrow would have been depleted from his inventory. So,
yeah, Scratch, his reflex strats are kicking in, so he is way ahead of Nightdew right.
Yeah, definitely has dealt a lot of damage so far, and the amount of damage he is dealing. And there it is, the flash. So Scratch is actually going to be our second place finisher tonight. Official SRL time of 101.26.
Yeah, GG to Scratch Dragon, showing the power of what you can actually do when you take the time to grind to 55 to get nukes. And showing that grabbing the Porum was actually a good move. Scratch was, you know, a little bit behind for the entire overworld dive, but just sticking, you know, directly going to eggs and grinding up to get Nuke and White to do the reflex strats put him, you know, ahead of everybody else for second place.
So we do see all of our other runners on Zeromus at this point. They're all kind of trying different strategies. We have Simbu still on the Lit 3 strats with a slightly higher grind. Of course, Nightdew still with his Sid, just smacking away with Earth Hammer, and then Zilch is... it's kind of hard to see what he's doing, but I believe he is having his Sid's attack.
Yeah, based on the HP of those Rydias, they don't have spells worth casting, except for Virus, so I think he's relying on the double Berserk Sid strat. Just gonna try and get Scratch Dragon in here for an interview when we can. He just needs a minute to probably cool down, let his nerves settle a little bit.
And Edward on Nightdew's side just barely hanging on there off that big bang. At 1666, you wouldn't imagine him to be able to survive many big bangs, but got a really nice roll.
Yeah, we see some more finishers rolling in here. Dusty Griff finishes in third with a time of 103.43, and then like immediately behind him, Moonblaze will finish in fourth place with 103.46, sniped by 3 seconds. GG to Dusty and Blaze.
Yeah, Dusty continuing just an amazing final table showing here so far in the World Series of Free Enterprise.
Absolutely. Him and Chokashura both are I will be very surprised if they do not end up top 2 of the entire event at this point. Dusty's still the only person that has the option to make all final tables, but I think this is Chokashira's second first place and has made 3 final tables. So both of them are doing very well in this event so far. And we are joined by Scratch Dragon. GG, sir.
GG's, guys. That was a fun one, actually.
So, of the people on our restream, you were the only person that decided that Porom was worth getting. What were your thoughts when you saw her at the pack?
White and Nuke. It's better than in reject percent. It's so much better to have 2 damage dealers than just 1. Long story short.
And you certainly proved that. Getting around the overworld, you were probably, I think you were either tied, about the same time getting underground as Zilch, but we're behind Nightdew and Simbu. But because of your choice to have 2 Rydias and Porom, and actually get 2 Nuke and White, you just blew through the Zeromus fight super fast and super easy. Whereas we saw Simbu try and go a little early, around 45 minutes, and he wiped twice, because he just didn't have the levels. And Nightdew stopped 1 level short of Nuke, just trying to get the dot done in, and had to do a basically solo Sid Berserk strat. So he entered the fight about a minute ahead of you, but you just cleaned it up so much faster with Reflect.
Right. It's actually, in my opinion, this is just me. It's actually super risky to go in with 2 damage dealers, let alone 1. Especially seeing that they're under level and, well, I say under level, but they have low HP, so wiping is super easy. Luckily for me, I believe it or not, Tella was a godsend at the beginning of this seed, because you guys saw what I did. Tella became the floor inspector and then just anchored, and he didn't even get a second Big Bang off.
Yeah, Tella's a really good start in these seeds. He gives you exit, so you get a lot of early looting that's fast. He can floor anchor for you on the Zeromus fight. And if you don't want to egg grind forever and you have Darkness Crystal, he lets you D-Machine. So Tella on reject percent is very valuable.
Yep.
I do want to say Nightdew did finish with his solo Sid with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 49 seconds in 5th place. So GG Nightdew, we'll try and get him in here in a bit as well.
We did also have a wipe on both Simbu and Zilch's side, so they're gonna have another go at Zeromus here.
The fight is really tough. No question about it, because if you go in early, I would say it's probably like a 50-50 chance if you wipe, because he could just high roll and completely mess up the fight. He could outspeed you for some ridiculous reason, because I don't understand how speed works in this game. And there's just so many silly things that can actually go wrong. I just thought it would be the most prudent and safest just to grind up the nuke and then call it a day. The one unfortunate thing that I had there was that I ran out of sirens and I had to run up and get 10 quick more to get nuke before I went into the fight.
I think everybody did that. One thing I wanted to ask you, when you got go mode, you had 7 key items and there were still 3 checks. What made you decide to just immediately go into the egg grind, even knowing you needed to get to, super high level 55 to get nuke, instead of maybe looking just for those last 3 key items to basically cut your grind in half?
Because there was actually a pretty strong possibility that the last 3 checks that were there, which was Dwarf Castle, Tower, and Yang, and actually there was 4, and Summons. I mean,
Summons actually don't give items on these flags.
No. Summon Feymark, the treasure chest in Feymark.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there was a chance that I could have done all of Dwarf Castle and it not be a key item, and that's just a waste of time. So instead of chasing my tail, I knew I had sirens, I knew I had coffins, I had everything I needed just to grind, so I said, let me just grind, do it, and call it a day.
Yeah, we saw Zilch go for the 10 key item play. We got so the pan was in the Fey March, and that led to Earth Crystal from Sheila. But Sheila 2 only gave a ribbon and the Earth. He actually did the Earth Crystal, hoping they get that 10th key item. Found a third Iridia and another Sid, but unfortunately the Earth Crystal was just a crystal sword, so not that 10th key item. And then opted to just go directly into eggs instead of searching either dwarf or tower to try and get that 10th key item.
Right. I mean, it's really with this seed, since there's no guarantees. It doesn't. You could gamble and it pay off, but what can you do?
Yep. Well, I think we're going to try and get Night Dew in here. So, any last words you would want to say?
If you're not playing this game, everyone should be playing it. This is a ridiculous amount of fun. It's been a blast we've been doing it for what, 4 weeks now? And we have 2 more good weeks coming up, so everyone should stay tuned. And the next time you get a chance, you should join a race. Everyone here is super nice, and you should join the next tournament because everyone is super nice and it's a blast to play this game.
3 weeks if you include the 2v2.
Yeah, but I only have 2 hands.
That sounds like a problem. Alright, well, GG, congratulations on your 2nd place, and we hope to see you at the final table next.
Alright, thanks for having me.
We did see Zilch take another wipe, unfortunately, to Zeramis, so he will be going in for another go at it, while Asimbu is still trying to get through with his Ridias.
Yep, and we are now joined by Night Dew. Night Dew, GG.
Thank you.
So, what made you decide that you were going to go with Berserk Sid instead of just doing like 1 or 2 more Sirens to get ready at 50?
I thought about it when I was my original plan, and you saw me actually peek the package. I was kind of hoping for double Sid Zerker because I had a pair of Earth Hammers. I had like enough for like 2 DPS Sid, but I'm like, okay, I have Cure 3s. I honestly probably should have went back and grabbed a few more Sirens because I kind of caught the tail end of that last interview, and it's like, oh, you know, hey, we ran out of Sirens. I'm like, I've got really like level 54, I want to say. I should have just done it, but especially like right when I rolled up to Zenith when the first dot done came through, and I'm like, I'm committed at this point.
Yeah, as I was telling Scratch, you rolled into the Zeromus fight about probably a minute before him, but since he had a full Reflect lineup with 2 Ridias and a Torum reflecting nukes in white, he finished, 3.5 minutes ahead of you. The power of 3 casters versus solo Sid.
Yeah, it was. It was a gamble, and I mean, I don't even feel that terrible about it, because, I mean, it's what I came in with. I'm thinking, as soon as I ditched that forearm at the package, I'm like, okay, that's what this is. I mean, I have 2 Tellas, I have an Anchor. That was probably one of the diciest service fights I've ever been in, and all hail Edward. How many Big Bangs did he hide from?
Yeah, I was gonna say that shred is really what helped you out there. I was just waiting for the time that Edward would be out and get caught in a Big Bang, and the one time that I saw that he actually got a really good roll and survived it and allowed you to keep going. So Edward was the unsung hero of your Zeramis fight.
Reject percent will make us do many things, but yes.
Yeah, so I also have to ask, why did you not take the Rydia at Baron?
I am not entirely sure. I saw her, and I think I was, I had it in my head, I think, okay, I'm gonna go check package. I was really hoping for that second Sid. I just wanted to do dual Zerker and have people up, and I really should have grabbed it, because I knew I was gonna leave one Tella down for anchoring purposes. And I really should have taken another Rydia just because it would have been a little bit more survivable, although, my whole idea with, bringing a 2,000 hit point Rydia with, Sorcerer decent armor. I think I may have forgot to put the rune ring on her, but she just couldn't take a big bang at 2,000 hit points, and it was really kind of sad. Because I wanted to just chemist her, and I left Edward back in case of emergency, and there was lots of emergency on that fight.
Yeah, but hey, you were able to clutch it out, so congratulations on that. That's a dicey one.
Absolutely.
So we didn't actually get to mention this with Scratch, but since you're here, I'll go ahead and ask you. As fun as Reject Percent is, how much are you looking forward to this next week with our Catalyte Seeds?
Honestly, I mean, when I was getting into the World Series of Free Enterprise, the first 2 weeks were kind of my I really wasn't much of an Apple Percent or Giant, but I mean, these last, League Forge, Reject Percent, everything going forward is, I've really what I've been looking forward to, so I'm going to have a ton of fun with this Catalyte coming up.
Alright, so Krim, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I believe I'm okay. Once again, thanks to Nadu for stepping in and chatting with us a little bit. Good game once again.
Thank you, and I'm just going to echo one thing that Scratch said, and I'm going to say it again. If you guys aren't playing this, jump right in. I mean, it's one of those things, and you can pick up many of the veterans here who can help you out, and yeah, I mean, it's a ton of fun, and if you aren't doing it, why aren't you? No, really, I mean, just come in and actually, I see Simbu finish. Nope, that's a crit, never mind.
Alright, well, GG's, enjoy the rest of your evening, and hope to see you in the quals tomorrow and Sunday.
Absolutely, thank you.
Alright, so while Night Dew has been in here, we have had a few more finishers. Penguinator coming in 6th place at a time of 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 26 seconds, and Error coming in 7th place at a time of 1:16:32. Like the Zilch's screen is completely frozen at the moment. Still going through the double Sid Berserker / I guess one's a chemist map. Simbu is in a dicey situation right now.
Yeah, Simbu really doing his best just to keep his characters afloat. Really, Zilch doing the same with his Sids. One playing the Curator and the other just trying to do what he can to attack. So really kind of the same strats that Nightdew had, but just hoping that his Sid survive.
Yeah, it looks like unfortunately Simbu's Berserk Sid has run out of arrows, so he's just punching. And that's not what you want at all.
No, that's really, when you start seeing that, that's really when you're hoping that you start seeing, or that you see a black hole really, really soon, so you can just change it. And with Rydia taking a really high roll in that Big Bang, it's a lot of trouble now because no arrows, and all you're doing is basically punching with Sid for anything. That would be a very, very long fight.
Yeah, we do. I did see a Meteo on Zilch's screen. It looks like there is the flash. So Zilch has finished in 8th place with an official time of 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 18 seconds. And we have a 9th place finisher in Swimi Leone with a time of 1:18:21. So we, I was gonna say another 3 seconds apart, but there's a full minute and 3 second difference there. I just can't read.
Hey, between me looking at the RC, they were both showed up at the same time, so, I mean, it was a close finish in my book.
Yep, we'll see if we can get a Zilch in here for an interview.
and Simbu's Edward just.
Edward took a into his face there. Rydia, is Rydia Berserk or is he just holding
No,
it? Yeah, he's
definitely.
Berserk Rydia. He's going for the Dragon Whip strats. Honestly, not a bad play. If you don't want to get your Rydias to 55, a Dragon Whip with a Heroine Robe or the Adamant Armor does a significant portion of damage. We do see rocks fall, so Simbu should be through this fight pretty shortly.
Yeah, just keeping Rydia with having tier 3s will be able to do it. Medio actually missed the first time, so Medio will do roughly between 800 and 1,000 damage when it hits on most characters, so being able to keep her up, especially when it's not hitting her, is no problem, so it's just a matter of dealing that damage.
Alright, we're trying to get Zilch in here for an interview, and there he is. Zilch, GG.
Thank you.
So I don't.
Am I working?
Sorry.
Yep, we can definitely hear you.
2 whites, not too bad, right?
That was definitely interesting Zerma's fight for you when pretty much all 3 runs at it, it was just your Sids and not much more. So finally we're able to make it work with one Sid acting as the healer in that final go around.
Yeah, I thought I could get it the first time, but I guess I skipped the black hole, which completely threw everything up.
Yeah, we apologize. Your stream has been a little bit of a slideshow for us.
How is it? Sorry about that.
So we tried to catch what we can, but I know it was a little bit hard for us to catch a lot of things. So you were the only one that attempted to actually get to 10 key items before your grind. Explain the disappointment at that crystal sword.
Normally, Crystal Sword, great thing to find. Not so much in this seed when it's not a key item. No one can use it. It sells for money, but it's right there. Really hoping for that, which I saw in the spoilers was apparently Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, when you got that Earth Crystal, there was 3 options available, and they both required 2 bosses for 1 key item. Or I guess technically the tower is 2 bosses for 2.
Yeah, there's the tower. I'd take the 2 characters. Gamble was someone. I didn't really need anyone to slingshot because I had 2 Rydias. One of them was slingshotable, but the plan I can get another Sid maybe, and then do what I did. Except in my head it worked out better.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting call. Definitely one that I think everybody kind of had to think through is, I got 7 key items. If you want to get your Rydia to 55, it's a long time. Do you gamble on getting those last 3, or do you just say, nope, I'm just going to do a lot of things?
I think I should have went with the eggs. I had the Artemis arrow and bow. But I still needed to get someone else up high enough in HP to keep Sid alive. It wouldn't have been quick.
Yep, so I do want to mention that Simbu has finished in 10th place with a time of 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 17 seconds. So that is all 4 of our featured runners have finished now. So GG to all of them. We'll probably see if we can get Simbu in here after Zilch is done. So is there anything else that you would like to say about the seed? How was starting with the crystal for you? Did it immediately throw you off your game, or were you happy to?
It immediately threw me off. I'll admit that. But yeah, I like the telestart though, so I was happy about that. I can loot and exit as I please.
Yeah, I think everyone managed to find the adamant armor in Troya rather early, so...
I was hoping it would have been in like the waterfall cave or something, but didn't pan out. The restream and commentary, guys, and thanks to all the organizers putting together this tournament. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Looking forward to seeing you in the next two events.
Well, those should be fun or interesting or some combination.
I'm
Yeah,
looking forward
we'll go
to
with that.
Catalite.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Yep, have a great rest of your evening. And just want to say shout outs to all of the volunteers that helped make the World Series of Free Enterprise possible. Shout outs to our tracker tonight, Tarasu, our restreamer, Mortal Mago, and of course my co-commentator, Crimson April.
Yeah, thank you for joining me tonight, Supremacy. It's been a joy. Always a joy to not only watch all the runners go through these seeds, but also get to hang out with other people in the community to do commentary and everything else. Definitely looking forward to the remainder of the weeks. Not only do we have Catalite, but I believe our following week is the Great Edward Percent.
So this weekend will be the Catalite qualifiers, and then next weekend will be Edward Percent, followed by the 2v2.
Yeah, and just a reminder that you can see all those, or most of those qualifiers, as long as we do get a crew together, you can see most of those qualifiers here on Free Enterprise. And you can watch the final tables here at Randomania and at RPG Lunch Break. So make sure you follow all those great channels, and also all of our runners and support group as well.
Yep, Simbu said that he doesn't actually have a microphone with his current setup, so will not be joining us for an interview. So I think that is going to wrap it up for us here on Free Enterprise. We did have Poydrak finish in 11th with an official time of 1 hour 21 minutes. Sorry, nope, wrong. 1 hour 26 minutes on the.
Absolutely. So all of our runners are done, and that will complete week number 4 of the World Series of Free Enterprise. Once again, as Supremacy said, thank you to our team behind the scenes, Tarasu and Mortal Mago, as well as our 4 future runners here, Night 2 Scratch Dragon, Simbu, and Zilch. Make sure to give every one of them a follow, and that will do it for us here tonight. Have a good night, everyone.